to disappear. So I'll call this meeting to order. I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we'll go around and introduce ourselves. So we have a new member joining us tonight for the first time.
My name's Grace. I just recently moved to Helena in August. My husband teaches at Carroll College when I was out here. But the 3 years prior to this, I've been studying conservation ecology and landscape architecture at my master's degree. Before that, I taught school around a lot. So I'm just excited to be out west again. I lived out west for a little bit right after grad. And be here. Welcome. Thank you.
Yes. I'm Emily Jacobson. I'm staff liaison and sustainability and recycling coordinator for the city.
Jason C. Long, I'm the chair of the CCB, and I teach science at Capitol High School, among other things that I've done in the past. So that's where I'm at right now.
In North Carolina. So.
Yeah, a bunch of things, a bunch of places.
My name is David Saba. My day job, I work for the NRC Water Resources.
And I'm Bob Jones, here on the Witness Protection Program.
I'm Peter Bentley. I work in bird conservation mostly. So.
Leah Anderson, Environmental Regulation Treatment Manager for the city. Backup liaison.
Nice.
I'm still very fresh. So
You got that. Nice.
And so we have actually it's full board, don't we have? No, we have a full board now of 9, which it hasn't been like that in 2 years at least. So
We have really good leadership.
that is great that we have a full board, because that means we just need 5 people. So if we don't have a majority of the seats, we can't actually hold an official meeting, which has been troubling, especially over like the past 18 months.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's been very troubling to meet because people are busy. So that's great that we have a full board. Well, thank you for joining us. So the first thing I'd like to do so that we can get this rolling along is approval of minutes. I sent out past minutes from August and September. I think we had official meetings. So was there anything on any of those? I didn't see anything, but did anybody else have any? So we would need an emotion.
So move to pass. Yeah. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion carries. We've got minutes approved. People posted now because there's been the folks that have been asking me about minutes, not all the time, but now and again. So this is a chance, an opportunity in the program for public comment. Do we have any members of the public with us? Do we have anyone that would like to speak? Okay. Moving on, update from city staff.
perfect. I am going to try and keep this very brief. Because I know you guys have a lot to discuss tonight. So our curbside recommendation went to, for our curbside recycling program, we have a contract that's ending on January 2nd, so we have to go out to bid for a new contractor for that. So we gave our recommendation on the October 1st admin meeting, and on Monday, November 17th, we go in front of the full commission for a yay or nay. We at the October 1st meeting, we also gave an update on green waste going universal curbside, but we're waiting on the solid waste rate study for that. So we're kind of at a standstill there. It was just saying, yep, we're still waiting on our rates. I also sent out a sustainability and recycling update. Did you send that out to everybody as well?
Oh, I sent that out.
Okay. Oh, no, I just sent it to you.
Okay, I didn't catch that one. My email right now is running at about 300 to 400 pieces of mail,
That's
only because I don't get to it but once every like 10 days. And
I can send that out to everybody.
I get lots of emails for things that I neither want nor need.
We are putting a project book together for a glass crusher that needs to go out to bid, so we'll have that down at the transfer station and keep our glass recycling local. Great. There is a Montana Solid Waste and Recycling Conference that's being put together right now. It's kind of spearheaded by Patty Howard out of Logan Landfill. And it's going to be in Bozeman on October 15th of 2026. So that's really exciting. We have people from DEQ involved. We have Recycle Montana involved, and that's a board in which I sit on as well.
Do you want comments now, or do you want to wait till you're done?
You can comment.
So I'm hoping the city is paying for your trip down there, is that correct? Or do you need a recommendation from us to have that?
Oh, no, that'll go into our next one. So that'll be under our conferences. So we'll have a booth there as well.
And she's presenting.
And I'm presenting about our chicken grant, which will be really fun. Exactly. Speaking of our chicken grant, our compost and food waste reduction pilot programs, we just had a start of another new month. And so right now our total food waste diversion just from chickens is 221.77 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 10 families.
It's more than me.
Each family gets 4 chickens, and so that's a pretty decent amount. We've had a few deaths, had to replace a few chickens.
Sorry, can I butt in real quick? Is your secretary here online, or should I be taking official notes right now? Or can you have someone do it?
No, someone probably should, because I'm making short notes, but not full notes. But there will be a video, there's a video recording of this. So we could go back and transcribe from
Okay.
the video.
And I'll send that to them as well. I sent it to them.
So, and yeah, and the video recording will give you, it'll give you like a closed caption as well.
Sure.
So you could just buzz through it and hit all of the topics, which is what I've done in the past.
Yeah. Our paint exchange this year, what went to the landfill was 4.5 tons, which is roughly 1,500 gallons of paint. The beautiful thing about that is we estimate about 30% of the paint that was brought into the transfer station actually left. And so it was our largest paint exchange yet. We're very proud. We're making it better every time we do it. And so I'm hoping for an even larger turnout next time. And public outreach has been a really big part of that. We also just had our pumpkin smash. I don't know if you guys saw that. We made front page of the IR.
It is.
That's about that. I got it on my list last time.
Yeah, it was great. So we diverted about the equivalent of 240 pumpkins from the landfill, which is 2,920 pounds of pumpkin. It was a huge hit. People loved it. We had a great time. And honestly, I don't feel like we have as many notes as we thought we would as to what we would change for next year, which was really awesome.
How many people showed up for it?
Oh, a lot.
Not even just we had a line down the stairs at one
Yeah.
point, people with their pumpkins, but there was a lot of people that just wanted to watch.
It was fun.
Spectator.
Yeah. it was
She's making like a basketball hoop for.
Ooh, that's a good tip for next year. We did bowling.
Bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bowling was a big hit.
what? We, Sleeping Giant Lanes donated 2 sets of bowling pins to us. And then Super One donated about 30 pumpkins. And, which were kind of,
Goes directly.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it was also nice because we knew some people wouldn't have heard about it. And they would show up and, you know, we just wanted to make sure all the little kids got to smash something, you know? But
Did
that
you
was super.
Did you play music by the band? Smashing pumpkins.
We did during setup.
All right.
But yeah, we made front page, which was great. Pine for Purchase coming up. You know more about that than I do.
So it's our annual event that we do each year with partnering with Fish, Wildlife and Parks and the Scouts. We collect the Christmas trees at the transfer station, and then all the trees that are collected are bundled up. They're taken out to the silos, they're bundled up, and then they are dropped into Canyon Ferry for perch habitat. Been a very successful program, and when I say this is at least the 10th year that we've done it. And so,
Talking about that in the late nineties.
yeah,
So I worked at Fish Wildlife Park in the late nineties.
Yeah.
I wrote a paper on doing just that when the walleye were when they were still
yeah.
gill netting them out of Ferry. There's a lot of Christmas trees on the bottom of Canyon Ferry now, I suppose.
It's a celebratory impoundment.
Our sustainability and recycling newsletter went out this afternoon. And I think that's pretty well it from us at the moment. Do you guys have any questions for me? On that, anything?
Park Lightning and Bill Roberts.
Thank you. Bill Roberts Golf Course Solar Array is officially up and running as of today, which is great. So we will be able to, in about a month, I'll pull all the data from this month, and so we can compare it to our transportation solar array, see if they're comparable, which system is working better, if better at all, or if they're comparable, which is really exciting. And we have very nearly a full year of data coming out of transportation array, which is exciting. And then the Ford Lightning has been ordered, and we should have it by the end of the year, which is really exciting. We're doing a multi-departmental pilot program with the electric Ford Lightning, which is cool. So people can check it out and see if it works for them. And it's also, you know, a good way for everybody to try something.
Everyone can use it, or is it?
It's just for employees.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Carlisle.
That's nice.
That was a long dream in the past. CCB was to electrify the city fleet, but it wasn't articulated in such a way that it could be done in a stepwise fashion. So it mostly didn't work, and then magically this year we recommended it. Here we are. So pretty much 4 or 5 this last year on our recommendations we made. 4 or 5 that were funded.
Yeah, and the only one that did get funded was
Yeah,
Right,
and it
right.
was because it wasn't easily fundable, that recommendation. It wasn't something that was clear enough to be easily fundable. That's great. That's happening.
yeah. Can I put in minutes, congratulations to staff for the outstanding work this year or in person? Yeah, put it on a performance appraisal and whatever. Yeah.
My review is coming up sooner than we get.
In April, we got time.
Anything else?
Nope.
Anything else? All right. Well, that's good. That closes the loop on several things that I had notes about. So this is great. We're just 15 minutes in, and really what I have for the remainder of time is just kind of an open discussion about our commission recommendations for next year. The sooner that we get them together, the better. I mean, it would be great to have them together this month, but certainly we will need to meet again next month. My optimism would suggest that we could have something finalized, at least the recommendations finalized by next month, and then we could get them into the template for the presentation to make to the commission, and then we can get scheduled like as soon as possible, because that's always the issue. If we wait until January to schedule, it's gonna be a hassle, and then it's gonna run into February or March when everybody is running away for things like spring break and stuff like that, and it just doesn't. I mean, that's what's happened probably because it happens every year, but
But we're supposed to present in February?
January.
Present.
January, yeah, but
Oh.
we have to have a final. We have to be ready to go in December in order to make the request to present in January. And so what typically happens is we don't finalize things until the third or fourth week of January or the beginning of February.
Do it,
And
you know,
then,
yeah.
and then February, they're already booked or they're doing other stuff. And I don't know what it'll be like this year with a new mayor and at least one new commission member.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
new, but then
And-
like,
Yes, and then add in the fact that we will have a new city manager potentially at that point. So,
That
if if it is at all possible for you guys to decide on your recommendations tonight, get a PowerPoint together and approve it at the next meeting, that would kind of be your guys' timeline for being able to make it to that, on that January admin meeting.
Okay.
On the plus side, if you guys make it on that January admin meeting, then, you guys are gonna be one of the first presentations
No, their board will be ready.
that, yeah, you'll,
Beginning of
you'll be one of
budget.
the first presentations at the beginning of the budget, one of the first presentations that the new commissioners and the new city manager hears. And so it'd be a good opportunity.
So I will kind of start with a couple notes or a couple things that I already have written down. And then from there, people can chime in with what other things they have. Of course, we don't have a full group here tonight.
Just a quick question before you
Yeah.
start. Did you guys discuss this last week or start discussing things
No,
last month?
So last month, I think I put a couple things down on paper, but since it wasn't an official meeting, we were more just tossing around a few ideas.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys didn't have quorum.
Trying to make a list. Yeah, we didn't have quorum. We haven't had quorum since September.
Gotcha.
So August and September were the last meetings we had quorum. So, but some of the things I have on paper. So, we've recommended every year to continue for the city to continue to contribute to the renewable energy program, that revolving loan program that offers residents an opportunity to make sustainability upgrades, really almost any kind of sustainability upgrade. So it can be for solar, it can be for a heat pump, it can be for water conservation things. So really any kind of sustainability upgrade they can make with that revolving loan program. It's very popular. I don't know how much money it has in it now, a certain amount. More with added this year.
More was added this year.
Yeah.
Oh, they did it.
Yep, they added
Yeah.
more this year. I wanna say they added 80,000 this year.
Yep.
And then
But they weren't.
we'll be able to add a little bit more from the EECBG block grant that we got. It's not a lot. It's gonna be about enough to fund two more. But with it going into the revolving loan program, it keeps perpetuating, so that's nice.
So you guys got this grant, it sounds like CDBG kind of a thing.
EECBG,
Okay, that's another disco joint.
yeah.
Yeah.
Energy efficiency conservation block grant, I believe. EECB, yeah.
So you guys wrote this up through?
It was a block grant, so it was formula funding that we received. In order to receive it, we had to first use it for a methane project. And
Okay.
so we replaced the stainless steel piping at the wastewater treatment plant. With that, we have a methane boiler there that uses methane that's produced by the plant to then heat the digesters that,
And
And-
get more methane.
yes. And the piping was due to be replaced. That gas is very corrosive. And so stainless steel piping will last a lot longer and a lot fewer leaks, all the things. And so then, we're able to use anything that's remaining from that, we get to put into the solar loan
I
program.
got to see the piping. I was out there with Ryan Leland last week.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so he showed me the stanky.
And the scum pump, and then you get to see the aerators, and did he take you to see the new turbo blower?
But he tried to sit doors for a while. Henry's kind of late, but he showed me all everything outdoors and a couple of the indoors. Grinders and some.
Yeah, so one of the things that, to highlight there is that the new mixers and the turbo blower are now in, and so that project there had a net energy savings of about $65,000 a year. So pretty substantial.
The aluminum pipes will last 3 or 4 times longer or something like that. Some of those.
Yep, the stainless steel piping is estimated to last between 25 and 30 years, whereas the cast iron piping was only gonna last us, I want to say like 15.
So sorry, I got you off on the side.
No, you're good, sorry.
No worries.
So the loan program is we're gonna suggest adding more to it again this year. I mean, is it fully applied again this year? Let's ask for more.
We do have a wait list on it already.
Yeah, so there's a way, so one thing that we've talked about in the past, and it might be worth talking about briefly right now and bringing up to the whole board is I think we asked for this, or I'm not sure that we asked for it, or it was a year that we didn't go until late, but including some language that would allow the people who decide on granting the loans to prioritize disadvantaged or low income households for the loan program. And I don't know that language ever got in there, but maybe this is the time that we make another
So moved.
round on that. So I think in doing that, not only increase the program because it is a very popular program. The figure I have says it saves somebody on a solar project $3,000 to $7,000
A year.
just on their cost of the project using that revolving loan instead of financing it in another way. So it's certainly significant, but it could be significant for somebody if they have a gas furnace that fails and they decide to use a heat pump to replace it or something like that.
I was just gonna say in the 2024 final presentation, you all recommended to actually amend the resolution to specifically include the loan companies. I don't know if that happened.
It did not happen, but it'd be worth.
Yeah, so 2024, we were a little scattered, and our presentation was not in the correct format, and that was when the city was trying to kind of not restrict the boards, but make things more consistent among the boards, and so that was
So
the year.
heat pump language made it in.
Neither of the language made it in.
Yeah, that didn't make it in, but from what I understand, the revolving loan program is for it was already for any sustainability. So it didn't need specific language for a heat pump or that was already part of the things that you could apply the loan to. So that
There
was
was substantive reason why it wasn't included or just scrambled, things got scrambled.
Things got scrambled. I can tell you that the commission did like that idea. And so representing it again, I'd have.
in January.
Yeah.
In the correct format. When we're first, if we're first. Might be something. So that was the first one I had, and I felt like that one, and we can certainly discuss this next month. I felt like that one is something that we should continue to ask for, because it's something that immediately has a direct effect. So it's not something we're asking for as a pilot program or something. It's something that's already functioning. So that one seems good. Other stuff that I had, so I've got some notes here about funding a mobile water bottle filling station to discourage the use of plastic bottles. And
It'll be better.
Put a little plan.
Fill it again.
Other, they've got any fungus or something that'll break down plastic.
I saw that, thanks, Jim.
So.
at city-sponsored events, this filling station would be something. Plus, it's an opportunity for outreach to occur by city staff with they have this showing up. So that was some one thing that I would like to have if we choose to go with such a recommendation would be kind of a general idea of what the cost is going to be.
Sure.
And I thought that was helpful last year as we had some idea of costs on our recommendation. Not all of them, but we also had some kind of justification for our recommendation as well. What is the reason that we are recommending this, which I felt like made the recommendation stronger, that the commission could see what our thinking was or what it was tied to. So that is another one that is a possibility. The third one I have, and I don't know where it came up in our discussion, but was a recommendation that the city of Helena actually have a sustainability budget. That it doesn't currently have a sustainability budget, and
At all.
so again, this is more like the pilot program
I
thing.
did not have my own fund, no.
So this is more like the pilot program thing. In order to have an office of sustainability or a department of sustainability, you have to actually have money, I think that's like step one. So, and if we look at our bigger sister cities, they have budgets, they have departments, they have not one sustainability person, but an office of
Missoula
sustainability.
has 12 people.
And that are doing a variety of things, and so I mean I understand why those places operate like that, but again I think it's one of those things. If we say, oh, we need to have a sustainability department and fund that, well, that just doesn't. That's the telling us to change the whole fleet to electric at once, whereas this is like the small step forward in making it something that is its own thing, whereas it currently is not its own thing.
I think you're going to want, I mean, I think it's a good idea, and certainly you should have a budget. Sorry, but I just wonder if we're going to ask for that, we have maybe not earmarks, but there's some of the things that the CCB's been suggesting. If there's how much they cost, and keep this office, and we'll take care of it for you. Kind of a, take it off of other hands, out of other hands.
Yeah.
So that's my only thought of, kind of reservation about the idea is making sure that we're not saying, hey, we need this tool, and we, where are we using it, kind of a problem. So I got this wonderful new drill, but I don't need the drilling.
Well, I think so. I think your justification is this list. I just had a list of updates from city staff right here that told me how much food waste was diverted by the chickens, how much pumpkin waste was diverted by smashing
But
them,
without a basketball hoop to-
how we're participating in making fishing better. And I mean, everyone in Helena likes better fishing, so we've got that. We've got 2 solar arrays operating, generating electricity, and a variety of other efforts that I think we could highlight as justification. I don't think we're asking them to take a big chunk of money and throw it there. This is already something that's happening. It just needs its own place to live.
And then
Agreed.
also, right now, today, I'm registered for some direct pay from various projects like solar arrays and electric vehicles and things like that.
Enterprise fund, yeah.
And so right now, when that money comes back, it's going directly into the general fund. And where that can be earmarked to come back to us say transportation comes in and they're like, we have this really big thing, and we need money. They go to the general fund, they're like, we could probably use this. And so it's a way to channel these funds.
Back into that budget.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing is that it's very hard to plan when you don't know what your budget is going. So like, all the other departments have capital improvement plans. And so they're able to project out what projects are gonna cost and then prioritize them, things like that, and do small projects like the water bottle filling station and things like that.
The glass crusher.
Yeah, the glass crusher. So without sustainability having its own designated fund that, even if it's earmarked, $100,000 a year, which would be less than what the commission has been putting towards sustainability efforts. But even if it's just earmarked, a set amount, that's easier to deal with on some ways because you know how much you're getting. And so therefore you can plan what you can do with that money.
And it also saves me trips to stand in front of the commission regularly. To say, hey, I know you said yes to this, but just, again, may I please?
Really say yes.
And they're, yes, and I'm like, are you still sure? Because I'm buying this truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be the biggest selling point too, is that it just streamlines the process and gets us out of the hair of the commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have final say, but
Yeah.
procedurally, it just makes the process quicker.
It does. I'm sure they get sick of seeing these.
And they can still prioritize projects, but like the glass crusher is a prime example. Everybody knows inflation. The glass crusher is going to be over 80,000 now because of delivery charge, barely, but because of delivery charges and because of that fact, and the commission earmarked 80,000 for it, we are now going to have to go back before the commission again after the project is bid to request increased budget authority. We have the funds we can take from a couple of other projects that didn't cost as much as we thought they were going to, but we have to ask for that increased budget authority because we don't just have our budget.
Maybe if you compiled, back to Jason, if it was compiled as, and here are the expenses that we did this year, maybe here's the income. I don't know if the solid waste transfer station brings in a lot of money, but it's not an enterprise fund. It's not paying for itself. And I don't foresee that happening here. Do you? Not like
Right now?
Well, no. I mean, that projected kind of purpose of the future. Don't go there, right?
Yeah.
All right, but so what you say is here are the projects that we have that are sustainability projects that are part of the funding we currently do, and that we're largely administering or can administer as part of what we do. So why not just let us take care of that part of the budget? And make it a constant. Every year we try to get 3% increase. I like that recommendation a lot, Jason.
Again, I think we make the recommendation. Keep it simple enough that it's understandable and then provide some justification, some language of this is why this makes sense. This is why it makes sense to do it now. And I think we get a better response that way. But I think certainly you already are funding sustainability measures, but it's hard for your sustainability staff and it's hard for us as a CCB to see how these measures are going to be carried out if you don't have a separate budget. You don't see the money. You have to go and ask for it again before you see it to confirm what you already think is going to happen. So I think it makes sense to me that would be a strong recommendation, but I think ultimately it's also a recommendation for a sustainability program that can grow. And I don't see now that there's any path for that to happen until you have your own separate budget, you have your own separate department. It's just going to be this little thing hanging out over here until something like that happens. So
This is something that Commissioner Dean, soon to be Mayor Dean, actually brought up at an admin meeting.
Twice.
Did she
She
bring it
said it
twice?
Twice in 2 separate admin meetings, she
Okay.
said, why doesn't sustainability have its own fund?
And it was something that she brought up organically, and so at least I feel like you might have some support.
I think we have consensus for David, or you?
I think this is a great proposal, big favor of the overarching, foot in the door proposals, especially. Yeah, I think
So I think that goes on the list.
And so I think last year we had several things that were very specific. This is more of a bigger picture kind of.
but it's specific enough.
Right, so it's certainly specific enough, I think that we will be able to get the message across, and I think your commission and your mayor will be able to see the point of what we are recommending, but I do think that to move things forward and to make sustainability a bigger part of the city, that's certainly something that probably should have already happened. But maybe now, but I mean, the sustainability coordinator is from what, 21?
Sustainability coordinator is a part-time position, 21,
Yeah.
as a full-time position, 23.
Okay,
So it's only
2 years.
2 years old, maybe 2.5 as a full-time permanent position.
So
And it's proven itself in that time.
oh, I think so for sure. I mean, just these updates, I think are really proof
Yeah.
of that. And I think maybe that what is lacking is probably just a citizen asking for it, or a group asking for that to be put in that kind of framework, because we come and hear the updates every month or every other month when we manage to have quorum. And I think that those are something that necessarily I don't think that the commission can really reflect on, or they may not see all of the time. And so, but if it was in front of them and requested, then I think maybe it would be something that would that they would be able to make a motion on that. Go from there. So those are the three that I have. We need 2 more recommendations. We're allowed to make up to 5. Bob, I think, probably has a list.
Oh,
So-
no, actually, it's David who has the answers here, because here's the situation. We have a new commissioner coming on board who's a water professional. 3-generation, proudly in his speeches, 3-generation water professional. Yesterday, I was at 2 meetings talking about water in the valley, and how we really do have, I mean, Ryan Leland is all excited and happy with the water, and what's her name anyway, I'm sorry about that, I can't remember her name, but clearly we are going to face some significant challenges here. Going into the future, how prepared are we for those challenges? The snow melt being less and the precipitation being more water than snow, and therefore running off quickly. So the end of the summer in our desert valley, we are going to be confronted with more fires and not enough water for, never mind fishing. It's, the pine trees are going to be showing their old dry branches sticking out of the reservoir one of these days, if we haven't kind of thought this through and come up with maybe some ideas. And I am meaning to put you on the spot a little bit, but
Water use, I mean, the fact that we use like over 3 times as much water in the summer than winter is kind of unsettling. And it's all like lawn irrigation.
Yeah.
And so, my thought is like, can we try to tackle or come up with a proposal that reduces summertime landscape?
what are some things you've seen? What we've talked about?
I mean, especially going from like Arizona, where I used to work and stuff, I've seen like xeriscaping rebates, like, or paying people by the square footage to convert their lawn to xeriscaping. I know people in Helena like lawns. I have a lawn, but
Still putting water in.
right. There's yeah, there's that, there's, you know, irrigation controllers, I've seen water utilities give discounts for. You know, so it connects to the internet, it can tell when it rains, so it's not watering when it's raining, that sort of thing.
Soil moisture meters.
Yeah, some of them are coupled with that.
That's part of what a portion of the irrigation upgrade at Memorial Park is gonna be with. That's for a whole separate side of environmental, because it's the retired landfill. But yeah, so we're looking at soil moisture meters. So if your soil moisture is within a certain range, it doesn't water, it skips that cycle.
So how do you make that happen operation? What are some ideas that have been used for that?
Well, I think part of the challenge is our scope as a board is to make recommendations to the commission based on what the city can actually do. When it comes to the residential customer, they're a private citizen. They can choose to do or not do as they see fit. So you're kind of up against that. You're kind of up against I don't even know what the cultural significance of having a green lawn in the high desert really is. I mean, it baffled my mind when I moved here in 2021. I could not understand why people were just irrigate like they do. I mean, I'm trying to get all of my lawn ripped out piece by piece and like converting it to flower beds that I don't have to mow, because people, I mean, I've said this for years in this board. They pay all this money to irrigate in the summer, and then they pay another guy to come at $100 a shot to cut the grass. It doesn't.
I can give you the whole history.
Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense in this particular environment. But again, that's the individual. So
Cultures.
So yeah, and so. But where's the recommendation in there? I mean, is it an outreach thing? Is it a?
It could be incentives, right? Incentivizing through.
Yeah, exactly.
We already have tier rates for water. I think that's good. That implemented a few years ago.
Create funds, right? So say, okay, you want a moisture thing in your, you do this with HVAC. I mean, that's the solar rates that we're putting loans out.
Right? So yeah, can we do something to just, and it will save the city money too, because the Missouri River plant's a lot more expensive to run than the 10 Mile plant. So I think that could kind of be a justification, be like, hey, if we try to reduce peak demand in summer, that's saving the city money by spending a little money for irrigation controllers or xeriscaping incentive.
We'll have to look at the resolution that sets the rates each year, because that is one of the problems that we've encountered in the past with rebate programs and trying to fund them out of the enterprise funds. So each one of those, your water rate, your sewer rate, all of those are an enterprise fund. And so pulling money from those for rebate programs is sometimes tricky. Just to give you guys a heads up of what that road might look like. Other municipalities are able to do it a little bit differently, especially if if the water utility isn't actually owned by the municipality. That's where a lot of instances people are able to do rebates like that. It may not get to come out of the water fund with it being an enterprise fund. So just be aware of that. It may have to come out of like a general fund or something. Or out of this, yeah, exactly.
They say, okay, or you get another loan type arrangement.
Yeah.
C-based kind of thing or loan program.
So I think the way to approach this would be to decide on what kind of incentive or what kind of program you need to do and come up with a way that you could do it in a pilot fashion, that you could say it's going to cost $1,000 or $5,000 to have this public awareness campaign and fund doing this to the giving this to the public or
moisture
providing this and doing it in a pilot fashion, because then you could actually go back and relate that to water use. That gets tricky though, because water use is going to fluctuate with precipitation. Water use is going to fluctuate with air temperature. But and so does it make a discernible impact on the rates of water use? But I don't, so it's not a reason not to do it, that it's tricky to get the data of what the effect is. But at the same time, I think the commission would be open to doing something that is a pilot style program where we could say it's going to cost X amount of dollars and we're going to do A, B, and C. And then we're going to monitor how the public responds. And so then the money doesn't have to come out of the water fund or the enterprise fund that is specifically tied to water and water use or maintaining structure for water use. But
Public outreach can be funded out of the water fund. That one, it can be, but as far as like a rebate scenario, that is where things get tricky, but public outreach absolutely can be funded.
Well, I like that pilot idea a lot, and the problem you're describing is a sample size problem. So you say, okay, the public outreach program lasts for 3 years instead of 1 year. And that way you've got enough of a sample across different years that you get some months, monthly or whatever. But I also really like this idea of it being a specific thing. Your water temperature thing is concrete, people can look at and say, oh, yeah, one of those, right? No.
Well, it's similar to the chickens too. It's like if you're doing a pilot program, I can look at the individuals who received this rebate or part of the pilot. I can look at their water use year on year, and I don't think information.
You throw this out there on the table, and you've got this new person who's a water, professional under commission, and he looks at it and goes, "Oh, what about this?" Or "I've seen that," or whatever. You make it as a recommendation that we try a pilot program that deals with water somehow. Not quite that big, but maybe a couple possibilities, and then he can pitch in and say, this.
no, I think it has to have some specifics. I think it should have a price tag. I think if you're going to do it like the chicken thing, we would have to come up with at least enough specifics to say we're going to spend this much money, we're going to enroll this many members of the public, and we are going to examine how it affects their water use and how it affects their water use relative to the average customer or the average citizen of Helena.
I just looked at grass and tufted grass. Is there a grass that you can use that doesn't use?
Well, yeah, my thought, I guess, just always goes to plants because they're charismatic to people too in terms of public outreach. As a tangible thing. Yeah, there are lots of plants and a lot of plants I know, because I've been working in maintenance this fall, are like, there were so many irrigated ones. It's a little wild to me, but yeah, there are lots of like specific plants that, like if you like plant plants, and I know that's a small part of the public outreach to introduce people to plants that they can connect with.
Here's some plant, these 3 plants or whatever.
But there are drought tolerant native seeds. I have actually native grasses that form sod in my
I don't
yard.
have to worry about dandelions or anything, right? So
I'm curious, does this not seem redundant on top of our recommendation last year with law and justice?
It does. So
I guess my question is, if that was a pilot project, so did there's a Xeriscape project?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, if we did that in a way that we think is like a model, shouldn't it be pretty easy to say, hey, let's get the data, let's see like how much water were we using there
per square foot,
per square foot,
and compare that to a relative turf grass lawn
or even
in Helena, how much water used is there per square foot?
I don't know if that's a recommendation to make to the commission, but I think we'd have an example there that we could say, hey, this work has been done. We need to actually crunch the numbers and then promote it. Because I think that might be next step.
I think you're probably right. I was,
Outreach funding.
you must have thought the same thing, because I thought at the same exact time. Yeah, there's that project that
Changing
we,
electrons.
that we did.
Sorry,
Oh, no, you're good. Emily is working on signage for the Xeriscaping Garden right now that has plant ID tags, and we have a native grass, or native grass and low drought tolerant and low mow grass, display down there. That shows some of the grass alternatives, some of the alternatives to Kentucky bluegrass.
Like a sampler.
It was something that the commission funded this last year, per a staff request. Yeah,
Those are one of our recommendations.
You're
yeah,
right.
and
Yeah,
and part of,
water conservation.
yep, it was. And then,
That's the point. Is that big pile of mulch still there? It kills me every time I look at it, and that if something needs to happen, that would be my recommendation.
I was volunteering with the New Plant Society a couple weekends ago, and there were 10 of us out there, and there's some, like, there needs to be, I don't know if there's a budget for that, but I was down there working with the person who designed the garden, and I think like the conversation with them before we promote it might be helpful. Just in terms of, there's also maybe a weird irrigation system thing going on down there, which is promoting no irrigation. Yeah, should be.
That, okay, a department here, our facilities department. And it's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a difficult journey.
Yeah.
To
Got good.
say it politely.
it's your typical pilot project with the city as far as, you don't know what you don't know
Yeah.
until you start doing one of these. And then Bob, to your point about Mr. Rigby, one of his legacies that he did while he was here at Helena is he was very conscious about leaks and leak detection. And while he was here, he found some of the big leaks, and in his diligence led to almost the city of Helena saving almost 1 million gallons of water per day just from leaks in our regular system.
That transmission loss problem is what I got in the Federal Register. So actually, so that idea of transmission loss.
And some of our big reservoirs, Melvin and Hale, and they relined Hale, I believe, either Hale or Melvin. They relined one of them, and yeah, and then just leaks within the rest of the smaller systems, not just even with the mains, and that's
So-
where
So we know there are some there still that we haven't detected or done anything with.
there's a few that are there. Well, we know that there's leaks. You're never gonna fix all of them, but how you can tell how much leaks you have is you take the amount of water that you billed for and you compare that to the amount of water that you made. And there's still some leaks.
So to me, that sounds like low-hanging fruit too. So if we say something about transmission loss with water systems or something else.
Well, the only danger I see in that is, I mean, these systems, I mean, sometimes that's an unknown cost. So you're not saying, let's throw 45,000 at this, that's, you're saying,
It's $12 million.
yeah, that's a,
If you look at the flow.
we don't, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still standing, isn't it?
A little.
I just wanted to, I don't want to discourage.
If you ever watched the
I
YouTube,
just wanted to say.
I highly recommend watching the
No,
YouTube, like in 2015, about the flume and the work for.
I mean, we can give estimates of like how much we think,
In the forest
how much
up
water
there.
we think it would
Yeah.
save
Um,
based
but
on.
My students were
average.
watching that, and they're like,
I mean, that's easy
Yeah,
to
that
do
way.
if we just wanna come up with a
flume. And
Well,
recommendation.
That's what
based
brings your
on
water
how much
to you.
water we think there's-
They're like that. Thing is
We're not
dripping.
gonna get
Yeah.
more sources. of
Back then.
Right there, yeah. The thing that loses 80% of the water that you put in.
Yeah, I mean, producing summer water just saves money and.
Yeah, so it's transmission and
How-
use.
How
issues
long
that
is it?
We're looking at, and I don't think, I think the use is the
3.5
public
or
outreach.
Okay,
I'm just making sense of this out loud.
It basically runs all the way
So
along the
the
base.
yeah.
use problems are the outreach
When was
issues. The transmission issues. are the-
Early 1900s.
more substantive and we're spreading into the
yeah.
public.
Yeah,
works.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
it's really,
Well, like we're
Um,
talking about the Red Mountain.
We
That's something
actually
that's all
just
be
did a project for them
worked
to
on.
reline a portion of it, so we should.
Large sum of money is being thrown at, I mean, it loses 80% of the water that goes through it.
$14 million fix or something.
so if you wanna see it, there's excellent YouTube. Just, I have to remember what you have to prompt, YouTube with. There's an excellent YouTube from like 2012 or 2015 that talks about the flume. They were thinning the forest up there at that time, which is everywhere in Montana now, aggressively thinning, because of dead trees, and fire hazards, but, it's worth a watch because you'll be pretty amazed at the wooden flume with a metal pipe with wooden boards over the top of it.
Fell through it this summer, it was fun.
If you have the link to that, you could.
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it. I have it. My students in earth science watched it. We
Do a field trip.
talked.
Yeah.
No, I would never get up there.
Uh, not up there. We had proposed to do like, and we might do it next year with our earth science kids. Do a hydrology field day, at the 10-mile plant, out on 10 Mile Creek at the 10-mile plant. If we could get, we just need to get enough expertise people to come to do like stations, and I think we'll get it. We'll be able to put it together for next year. They've done something like that in the past before, but this would be like grab the kids for a half day and cycle them through, and then send them back, and maybe even do Helena High too. All of the kids for a watershed day. So I was involved in one in North Carolina, that we did with 8th graders. In the
Let me
county.
know if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stream flow measurement stuff, I can bring.
Yeah, that
boats
is,
and
so
stuff.
that's exactly the kind of expertise and the school system, let me say, does not have any instruments whatsoever to do any kind of water quality or stream flow or any of those kind of measurements, but we would be looking to have stations to kind of take the kids through all of the physical science associated with it, and then some of the biology as well, even though it's for science, but that's a side.
Psychology of it is the problem.
So I definitely, I think there are, it sounds like there's something here. I'm not sure that we necessarily have a recommendation at this point. But I think what would be helpful in thinking about this going forward would be to have maybe some data from the Law and Justice Center on, and this may be tough with the city and the way the city's irrigating, because I don't understand how the city's irrigating over there. Is it they just spray it?
So there's a sprinkler system.
There's
At
not
Law.
supposed to be.
There's not supposed to
But
be.
then there wasn't, or I don't know,
It's
this
there.
is all hearsay, but apparently there wasn't, and they added it. For this was to be displayed.
Yeah, they want- so that's good.
It was existing.
Here's
Oh, it
what's
was,
here.
okay.
Here's
Yeah,
what's here.
so that's always been there, and so when the lawn was originally torn out, there were a lot of breaks in the line and things like that, and then they spent the time to repair those and put the irrigation system back in place. Because again, I don't know that the directive was clear
Right, sure.
to facilities, and especially in a group of people who aren't necessarily gardeners even.
Yeah,
You know, it's not, and like, of course, our maintenance people, they're just doing what they're told.
Sure,
So
totally.
I don't think it was.
So
Yeah,
now
there
the
were-
irrigation's growing weeds now, eventually.
It's, yeah, there's a lot of weeds and it's really soggy. Moss and,
Oh,
yeah,
so excess water.
yeah, it's too much water.
I mean, do we need to propose a file? I mean, I can come up with numbers, DNRC has ET sensors, I mean, there's been lots of other work we can cite too, and be like, well, per square foot on average, we save this much water. It's up to you whether you wanna.
Right, I think what we would have to do is identify. If you're gonna involve the public, you have to identify what it is the public's gonna do. So how are they gonna change their behavior? Are they gonna use some kind of sensor? Are they gonna get some kind of tool? And then how are we gonna follow up with that? as a program for water conservation. I think that the water conservation thing is coming, whether we like it or not. It's just a question of whether or not we're willing to do it voluntarily ourselves or wait until it's placed upon us. I mean, I think that's what's happened in the Southwest.
Yeah,
Is now it's no longer are we going to conserve water? Now it's a
we are going
we
to.
have to
here's
conserve
how we
water.
are going to
Oh,
do it.
Depends on the city.
yeah.
It is good to have the data.
When I was in Tucson, it's great. Phoenix, not so much.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their green lawns and
Really?
Golf course.
it's insane. Yeah, Tucson was like their number one for like least amount of water use per
Yeah.
capita, and like
But-
it's mandatory to put in stormwater catchment.
Yeah,
with all
but
the
not in
Phoenix. Phoenix, yeah, you get all the snowbirds come there. They want their nice green lawns.
Where are they getting? Are they pulling out of the ground?
Colorado.
Some of it's mine, yeah, most of it's from the Colorado, but that's starting to get iffy. And they have the Salt River too, which is big infrastructure.
Extremely iffy.
Can I
Oh, yeah.
suggest that, I mean, I'm playing on your same sandbox for just a minute. It's great to have that background information, and it's also great to have information and data about how things are working or not working. This is one of those things where I'm an applied psychologist, right? Okay, so what'll work now kind of questions. Clients say, hey, we want to fix this now, right? There are a whole lot of people out there like us who would love to not have to water lawns. I don't water a lawn. I have, I mowed it 6 times with my electric mower this year, but the dandelions were very pretty this year. I just want they were very attractive. But there are plenty of people out there who would like to have these kinds of solutions.
Yeah.
And we're not providing that. The city's not providing that. We don't have resources to provide that. We don't have public information about how to provide that even, because nobody's out there trying to sell. If you wanted to get rid of dandelions, you could go out and sell that to people. Dandelions, ugly, bad breath, ugly, whatever kind of a, liturgical approach. Now you go to church and you feel better, right? But what I'm suggesting is there are already people out there who want to do this. And we know from your experiences in Tucson versus Phoenix. Okay, here are the things that have worked here, but not there. So there are people here in Helena that are this way and that way. How do we identify and reward and provide? We don't have to incentivize, but just say, hey, look, we got this loan program for HVAC, or we've got this loan program we've got this, I don't know, pilot program. We can send Grace out to help you figure out what plants you want to use, right? We're lucky one. Yeah. Anyway, but so throw something at it. Throw stuff against the wall. Growing Friends pilot projects are nice, but there are people out there, if we can identify them, who would love to have even the information. Oh, gee, you mean I can plant these plants instead of those ones? So how do we get to that?
I would argue if that's what your interest is, you're already doing it probably.
I would rather not have lawn, but I'm not doing it.
Somebody's gonna pay me $5 a square foot to rip up my lawn.
Right, or they can tell me what cost me less. Yeah, or the cost me less.
That is
years ago.
different. So that is something that is tangible. I mean, but the flip side of this too, I mean, you're worried about the valley and people on wells in the valley. But the Missouri River still flows through here. And even though it costs a lot more money, in the near or distant future, there may be an incentive enough for people to just take money out of the Missouri and use it in the valley. So I think that
It's super complicated. It's spaghetti.
yeah.
But I did see my tour with Ryan, that the water coming out of the treatment plant is just going straight back into the river. There's all this treated water. In New York City, they're drinking their own pee, from 44 different times through the machine, Here we're just taking all this water in this desert and pumping it back into the stream. I mean, we could be those agricultural users we could be charging for that water. the irrigation system, that kind of thing, they're, again, you guys are the experts, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just all head up about it after yesterday's meetings. So, yeah.
I mean, I think there is probably something there. I don't know that I see a recommendation per se, and I think it has to be worded in such a way, because we've given recommendations before that are very general and very vague, and those ones just don't go anywhere.
Right, that's why your system for figuring out soil moisture.
And I think it would be great if we had something that we had talked about for several months now and kind of have worked it into shape. My only concern is I would love to have like our recommendations ready to go so we can vote on them next month and make it a thing. I'm not sure that one is there. We've danced around that one for the 3 years that I've been on the board now and again. And because it's something that irritates the living daylights out of me to see those sprinklers running at 11 o'clock on August 5th,
Yeah.
on the 15 acres that are surrounding like Chaudere or something like that. I mean, that's just an example. It's not it's not a specific hit on any business or any location. I mean, the school district's just as bad. I mean, I go out there at Smith Elementary and that big field out back, and not only are the sprinklers running, but the stuff's busted and there's just water like bubbling up out of the ground and it's soggy. I mean, the whole soggy thing you're talking about, I'm like, oh, this is great. It's like, hundreds of gallons at the school district. Who needs to build 3 new schools now or 2 new schools and 1 renovated school is paying for as well. So it's kind of aggravating. So maybe we need a pilot program for a person to go around and detect all the leaks and irrigation. So, but there's some municipalities which you probably know. Probably Tucson probably has a water police person.
There's water
Compliance. Water compliance.
I'd still be interested if you have an idea or two you want to throw in.
I think it could be done. I mean, just because there is a lot of information, a lot of other municipalities in the Southwest in particular that have done specifically xeriscape rebates and irrigation controller rebates. I mean, I think we could even put some rough numbers to it and be like, this is what I think you'd expect based upon what these other municipalities have done.
Yeah, I'm for that. I think if you could do a little research and come up with a measurable recommendation for next month, I think we'll have plenty of time.
Okay, that'd be nice. And yeah, I mean, I think we would just look for, if we convert this from irrigated lawn, use this much water to not using any water, what's that going to be per square foot?
Data. If there's any good data, I shouldn't say that, from the Law and Justice Building, we can say, hey, look at the results here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we can, take the next step forward with. I don't know if we can get that next month.
If it's still leaking, if you're irrigation.
I do, just through my work and what I've been doing, we have a lot of evapotranspiration data for Helena Valley that we could pull, and you would just look at that local, be like, this is actual evapotranspiration.
It's still like that transmission loss problem too. And I'm not quite sure that's a huge ticket you're suggesting. It's not cheap, right?
If you want to be a little, I have a recommendation I want to talk about as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump on discussion.
No,
I think we're wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
So next topic, let's go.
I mentioned that I want to look into transportation, bikes, and all that stuff.
yeah.
Did some research. I mean, right now we have the big MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, doing the transportation plan for Helena, East Helena Valley. So that's ongoing right now. And there are opportunities to apply for funds through that NPO. Like East Helena Schools just got approved for like $600,000 to expand sidewalks to make it more walkable for kids to get between schools, stuff like that. So work is happening. Helena applied for an ADA project that did not get approved because it couldn't be fully funded. That would have been like 200 something sidewalks to become ADA accessible. So I guess I was just looking one at the NPO and what's going on there. We're kind of in the middle of the process for that. So at first I thought, well, what can we do, you know, that they're not already planning for? As I dug deeper into the multimodal study that happened in 2023, I guess I have questions for city staff. Is anything being implemented from that right now? Or just my sidebar is, are any of those bike lane recommendations being implemented? Is anyone talking about it? Are they waiting for the NPO?
I mean, they are talking about it.
They are
We
talking
have
about it.
a committee.
And last I heard, some of what they had been doing was waiting for the establishment of the new, used to be an MTAC.
Yeah.
The one that Dick's on. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is all context.
Yeah.
But looking at that study from 2023, there were a couple smaller recommendations that seem relatively fundable. And they've done all the work.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a short-term plan to improve bikeability and walkability, and there's a long-term plan. The long-term recommendations, you know, it can be like a pedestrian mall revamp that's $600,000 to $8.2 million. We're not talking about that. But there's small things like bike boulevards, which is installing more signage or pavement markings. It could even be removing parking spots on Park Ave and developing a bike lane there. That's part of the plan, and could be a fight.
Probably, you just said remove parking.
Yeah, it's not gonna fly.
We're gonna get crazy.
And then there, you know, one of the recommendations was short-term improvement for bike lanes, install signage, pavement markings, as recommended in that network. That's like $32,000.
This is for the signage stuff.
Signage and marking on the street, and I know, you know, it's not always comfy to be a biker in this town, but if there's a recommendation that's made in the professional plan that the city contracted out to do, and it's $32,000, it's for the short-term network goal. Maybe that's something we say, hey, you know, if you're not already implementing this, this could be a first step.
Well, it also comes up in like the downtown urban development plan that was specifically around, for instance, the connectivity and get rid of the bike or connect the bike lanes that just randomly end, right?
Yeah, right.
Get some markings in there, and also the new open space plan also referenced that as well. So there's like lots of references we could point to, I think, and be like, yeah.
Is there another board that would specifically be doing this, or what happened to this?
Works.
I don't.
No, there was the transportation.
Yeah, the non-motorized.
Yeah.
Took away, but-
Yeah,
Well, I thought they didn't. I thought
we got absorbed into,
Oh,
yeah,
Yes,
into
and
that
they
one.
are part of the NPO. It's,
Yeah.
they're,
Oh, I thought they kept them around, or they did, and
Well,
then
they
they
kept
said,
some of them around, but it's
some of them are on that
an independent.
transportation
oh, okay.
committee within.
And
So, but this is not something specifically they're asking for, the short-term
No, they're talking about
measures, big picture
big
ideas.
picture, big picture. No,
But this could be a sustainability, short-term,
Yeah.
something we could do now, something that could potentially make a difference now.
Yeah, because if we're going to do a long-term plan like that, it costs, you know, the long-term bike lane improvements is $270,000.
Yeah,
But if, you know, why wait until, you know, the end of 2026 when this NPO is
right.
done
I can tell
to
you.
actually
Right.
start?
And so these
The
improvements are,
NPO is a wish list for grant.
And what's really cool about the multimodal plan is it says, it identifies potential funding sources for all this too. So even if you don't have funding in the budget, it says, business improvement district, TIFs, city fund. But there's also a list of grants that the city can apply to. I don't know like how in the ether it is, but it seems like here's the thing you can do. Find the money. If you don't have the money, here's a guide to find some money for it too. So
I like that, especially because it's already been studied, it's already in the plan.
yeah, because
It kind of low
I'm
hanging fruit.
not qualified to be saying, oh yeah, we should put protect the bike lane follow it. But it's in their plan. So
Another thing that was in the one of them too, I forget which plan was like bike share stuff. So I think it was connectivity and then bike share. We don't have any bike share right now. That's also kind of like a low hanging. We're in a couple
Private
stations.
enterprise,
Sometimes,
so. yeah.
or sometimes it's sponsored by, like Northwest Energy or something.
Not that they're being sponsored. So I have a question though. I heard this from a citizen today. I was at, never mind. And he said, it would be really nice. He lives up in North Valley. This is an NPO rather than a city ceremony. They said, I wish we had a transit system. I've heard a lot of, the city commission meetings about, kind of out fringy kind of talk, nothing in the middle of the budget process. Just people saying, yeah, it'd be nice. Paul Pacini with friends, big in that. So, but this guy had a really interesting idea, which is, okay, you've got all this traffic on Tammy Avenue from Lincoln to, let's say, Capitol and other things from town. What if we just had a shuttle that ran from here to there?
I totally agree. I would
It's
love to see that.
feasible,
I would
but
love to see
pay
it
for
go
itself.
from downtown to the Capitol as well. And I do feel like
Yeah,
that would be better addressed in the public comment for this larger transportation plan. I don't know that.
I heard the BID last night. They had the BID talking about transport and signage between downtown, the Capitol and the library museum. And I'm sure that we could probably partner up with folks like that to make that kind of thing. That it wouldn't help with bikes, it'd still be automotive transport. But if you're packing 20 people a ride, rush hour going into town and rush hour coming back out of town, make an electric vehicle or a propane, an electric vehicle.
And having a regular bus schedule came up, even during the town halls for commission. I don't know how we ask for that. I don't know if we get shut down by immediately if you say, well, if you just know the day before and you put in the call, you always have a bus ready.
Yeah.
But that's how our buses.
It's more expensive to ask to funding.
It's like $3 to $5 to take a bus around town.
I suggest, the way I would do this is what Jason's always said, which is pilot study. Gonna do a traffic study and see how many people are traveling down Montana Avenue from Lincoln Avenue and how many stops you might have. I got a buddy who says traffic engineer lives down the street. He's drums in my band.
Well, so you got a couple of things going on there. That's city and county. And so, and I don't know how the county would be interested or not interested in something like that. I don't know that the city would necessarily say that it's our purview to fund all of that versus something like, downtown to the Capitol, which would be all within city limits. I do think that like the smaller, like the signage, the protected bike or the whatever you were talking about, I think now something like that, I think definitely would have resonance with the commission coming from this board. And I think that as a measure to again work on developing protected bike space, I think this it would be something that would probably fly. Just from what I've seen, from what we were able to accomplish last year. So I think that would certainly be something that would be within our scope of making a recommendation. I don't want to hold us here too long, but I think like if you're willing to work that up, what I will do is I will send everybody last year's presentation. It's short, very, very short, that was made to the commission. You can get an idea of how the recommendations were worded, how we describe the recommendations, and I will work on kind of the renewable energy, maybe the mobile bottle filling station, and get started on the sustainability budget between now and December. If y'all want to tackle water and something with the transportation, I think that gives us 5 right there. So that gives us something to work from. I was going to ask you guys if there was anything else that we were. Anything else? I mean, I know last year we came into we're like, we got to have that glass crusher. I mean, it's just, it would be dumb if we didn't have it. And so that was one that we made out of
Sure.
before. So,
I think you might have.
So-
I do have one.
okay.
I'm sorry. No, you're fine. Like, so, one of the cool things I saw in Springfield, which is Ozarks, in Springfield, Missouri, karst topography, that much topsoil. And there were lots of flooding, lots of flooding, was that the flood control projects turned into bikeways. And it worked, and it was a partnership with a bunch of money people who gave money, and the neighborhoods that did what I don't know what they're called here. They were neighborhood improvement districts. There, I think they're called something, not BMP obviously, but some other kind of improvement district. Tim Burton has a name, but the idea that we say we recommend that any flood control projects that we work on create connectivity possibilities. So we engineer those flood control places such that we can put a pathway down through. We already do some of that, I think. Yeah. So to make that explicitly, kind of part of what happens with flood control.
I mean, I feel like the big flood areas are out by like Prickly Pear Creek,
Yeah.
which
And
is
definitely
probably current. Is that even within city limits? Or is that like
parts.
potential annexation? I feel like we're getting into
It's
that.
it's
Right?
an urban, USD Urban Services. So yes, there is flooding in the urban service. I think it's not just Prickly Pear, and the annexation thing comes up with 10 Mile as well. John Ramirez and right? So,
Well, we could take all the cars off Last Chance Gulch and call it.
yeah.
We do actually have a stormwater study that's going on for Last Chance Gulch right now. That is looking at alternative and why the issues that have started to come up, or not, that are continuing to come up with Last Chance Gulch. And so it's been a really interesting study actually, and we're coming to the end of it. And so maybe that'll be a presentation for you guys this winter, which would be probably interesting to most people in the room. But we can show you guys that one. Hopefully, I think this January, I think is when it's set to be finished. And it has a couple of alternatives in it, and yeah, it's been interesting. Sorry, slight tangent. Does anybody know of any plans? I know it's only November, of rain barrel workshops this spring. So there's been a few different folks that have put them on. We've helped in previous years put on a couple.
Resilience has put.
Is Resilient gonna put them on?
I don't know if they are. They have put them on the
They have,
past though.
yeah.
So that's the first group that I thought about. Yeah. Which is a lot of the Native Plant Society
Yeah. Yeah.
people and
That's that's one of those things that, you know, we're always looking for barrels and stuff for, but everybody starts looking for barrels for the rain barrels in March. And so, if we know of one that's gonna happen, last time we were able to store a large quantity of barrels out at our utility maintenance shop. And so if we knew, then we could start reaching out to folks now and potentially getting our hands on some of those barrels now and start stockpiling them so we can potentially do a bigger. So, thanks, Frank. Sorry, Bob brought up stormwater, so that's where my.
Oh, that's well, yeah. I'm picking up
We have that
people's notes, picking on
sustainability
it.
budget in the city, could green girl workshop. On your budget, you plan for it,
Rain barrel at Home Depot, $75.
Great. great reach.
And you can paint them. You can get an artist to do a mural of
We could work with Helena Public Art Committee,
Mhm.
make pretty rain barrels.
Future meetings, so. Future meetings, so I will send around last year's recommendations, I will send you all that YouTube, which is worthwhile watching where our water comes from. All my ninth graders have forgotten about it now. At this point, even though
Where did
we,
Jamie's come from? You got
even
that?
though we covered it, they'll remember something like something is rolling around.
Did you show the ones that we have on our website?
I don't know what I don't remember what I showed them. I showed them the one that is, it was about the flu
Okay.
and the work there, and then there was another one that was about the 10-mile plant.
Okay,
That was like going through the 10-mile plant, it shows the water coming in and being screened, and then when it contacts the disinfectant, and then it shows it going out to the big storage.
Yep.
And hanging out there and talking about contact time, and then somebody makes and we actually, well, I went through this with the students, makes the point of how much more expensive, like the 10-mile, at the time, the 10-mile plant cost like $40,000 a year to run. And at the time, it was like, I don't know, $500,000 to run the Missouri River plant for 6 months or something like that. I mean, it was like significantly
Yeah.
different, but I mean, I think the video was from like maybe 2013-ish.
I think it's even more efficient now after the new upgrades they
yeah,
just
I
did.
was about to say,
Yeah.
we do filter media. and-
Yeah,
So,
that we do have some newer ones on the water webpage for the city of Helena that Mr. Rigby actually did. I want to say about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, but it does cover some of the same stuff, but yeah.
I'll send around the one with the flume on it because I was floored. I thought, I'm like, really?
are they supposed to be replacing that? Are they currently replacing it?
Yep, so we're replacing portions of it, so we're starting at the locations that are closest to Chessman first and working our way back,
Yeah.
because that makes the most sense. No point in getting water here when you're just gonna lose it there. So yeah, so the flume design and project, I wanna say it went out to bid, it has been awarded, and I wanna say they start next spring.
So
So,
The diversion structures, the replacement of the diversion structures is done. And so,
They look really pretty. I was up to look at that.
good,
Concrete, steel, you know.
not things that were built in 1800. and they had to count the number.
Yeah, trying to keep water off his plane or something, yeah.
so I'll send those around and we can kind of work on these, so that we can come back on the 11th of December. I just looked on that, the 11th of December,
I will
This
not be. here.
second Thursday
I'll be
in
in England.
December. I will definitely be here on the
Right.
11th of
Oh,
December.
yeah, well. I
We'll have
have to-
class.
that's
It'll be nice to see the kids.
I think, unless my calendar is, I have Thursday, because the 4th is the first Thursday and the
it would be
11th is the second Thursday.
Yep.
in December. So. December 11th would be our next meeting. And so, do we have any members of the public?
Nobody
What?
joined.
Okay, nobody joined, so, I just wanted to make since I've got it on my agenda here, to make an opportunity for public comment. Anybody have anything else, announcements or otherwise?
I will not be able to be here at the 11th.
Can you zoom in?
I probably would. I'm meeting a post. That's 4, so I could use it.
Could you turn on Zoom?
I can see, yeah, I can do that.
And with your little icon to appear.
I can do that.
That will give us potential. So I just worry about quorum.
Yeah.
Because it's.
I'll sign it.
It'll
drive.
Yeah, it'll be potentially an issue, especially if you're not gonna be here, Bob. I mean, I assume Nathan and Betsy are pretty regular in their attendance. They just weren't able to come tonight, so and Nathan's still, I mean, he still probably hasn't gotten a paycheck
Yeah, I was gonna say.
for
shut down.
because he's federal employee for a period of time, which is just silly altogether. So if nobody has anybody else, anything else, I think we can adjourn. We don't need a motion to adjourn, do we? No, okay, we can adjourn and then we'll see you on.
Who's gonna run for city commission? You gonna go up for city commission?
Who?
No. Special election has to.
It's considered like.